Welcome to the Sticky Art channel, Bob Ross Halloween special. I'm here dressed as everyone's favorite teacher, artist, legend, Bob Ross, wearing a Bob Ross t-shirt, and I'm going to be painting alongside Bob Ross in Season 8, Episode 13, Northern Lights special. Let's begin.
Going to start off the painting by getting all my paints ready, putting some color on a blank palette. This painting uses some really bright colors, including permanent Alizarin Crimson, the Pthalo Blue, burnt Umber, Viridian Hue. That's another bright color, it gives you those bright turquoise colors. Burnt Sienna.
Let's take a 2-inch brush and I'm just going to tap it into a little of the titanium white. Just gently.
A couple fat globs of titanium white.
Yeah, I want a happy little reflection to live right underneath.
One of the main reasons why I picked this painting, because it's so dark and also really colorful. It's so dark that it starts with a black canvas, and then using translucent colors, which are the blue, red, and green, mixed with some paint thinner to give a thin layer of paint over the black, which just tints the canvas. Can't really see it too much, you can kind of see it more in person, but it just makes the black a little bit darker. And I just did areas of all red, green, and blue. Bob Ross says you can't really mess up, you just gotta pick an area and go with it. The Aurora Borealis, also known as the Northern Lights, is a natural phenomenon that creates a spectacle of lights in the sky. After putting down all the dark color, next step is putting down lines of titanium white by just tapping the white paint in the line that you want.
So all we need is white. Let's go up here. Now, decide where these curtains, where these lights are going to be, and just begin tapping. See?
I do this just like Bob does, and I put down 3 lines of white paint.
Make your basic shapes. Northern Lights. Northern Lights were running wild in the land of the midnight sun. And I lived there for over a dozen years. And that has to be one of the prettiest countries in the world. God was really having a good day when he made Alaska.
Then using a clean, dry brush, just hit right on the white and pull up. It pulls all the color from the translucent into the white, and you get some really cool colors. This part I thought was going to be really hard. It was actually pretty easy. I found the less you mess around with it, the more it keeps its true colors. And the more you kind of finesse it, it gets more soft, kind of like cloudy. But overall, a really cool effect. Using easy technique. With the wet paint below, it just pulls up onto the white. I played around with it until I was happy. Using a palette knife, I'm going to mix some brown, blue, and black together to get a really dark bluish black I'm going to use as a base layer. for the mountains,
Now then, let's have some snow.
mixing all the colors,
Down the side of this
and
mountain.
then getting the paint on the edge of the knife. This technique allows you to just cut the paint with a knife. I just laid in my mountain line, the ridge. After I did that, I blended out the bottom portion using a dry brush. Also kind of laid in some lines for my highlights on the mountains. Using the same technique, using just titanium white. I went over on the right side where my light source is and just kind of cut in some of the highlights. Put in some snow caps on the mountains. After I got all my main highlights in, I went in on the back side of the mountain using some blue and created some shadows. Then I used another layer of dark blue and then a paintbrush pulling up to create some trees. And underneath to create a layer of fog and snow, I just tapped in some titanium white. And by running the brush through, kind of picks up some of the colors around, gives it a shadow.
Straight down. And start where you want it to be the brightest, and then work outward in both directions. And automatically, it'll get darker as it works away from that area. Now with a clean brush, pull it down firmly.
Using a palette knife, a little bit of titanium white mixed with a little bit of blue. I cut in the background of the snow as well as the outline of the icy river. It is going to be reflecting the lights from the Aurora Borealis. I somehow messed up recording, or my camera didn't record me painting in the reflection. However, it's the same as the sky, except when I got to the end, I had used a little bit more of the brush to soften everything out. Also, I used a little bit darker of colors. So to create a little bit more depth, I'm going to paint a few trees on the right here. First I paint in its trunk using a black, and I'm going to cut through to the sky. One thing I've learned from Bob is that when you're painting trees, they're not just trees, but happy trees. And happy trees need friends. So once I painted in a few trees, I had to come back and paint a couple more. And one in the front, I cut through all the way to the top into the sky to create a little bit more perspective and depth. Went back over and added a little bit of the highlights. And once you have all the darks in for the trees, I used a clean brush with some titanium white and just tapped on the tops of the trees to give highlights and a little bit of an effect of snow that just is sitting on top of the branches. At this point in the tutorial, I went a little bit different direction than Bob. He started painting a house on the left-hand side using a palette knife. I decided I just wanted to keep it to nature and focus on the Aurora Borealis. So I just went in and added some more details in the foreground and background. The last little detail I added in were some stars. I used titanium white mixed with a little bit of blue. Just add a lot of dots in the black areas of the sky. And then I went over a few of them using titanium white and yellow to give a little bit brighter stars. I did the same technique to the icy river. And there you have it. That's Northern Lights painting with Bob Ross. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for my newest videos. Until next time, happy painting and peace.